I know gold is not enough. She's a dime.
What's going on, guys? QC Car Guy here, back for another video. Today we are doing the most popular tag of automotive YouTubers, the 5 things we like and don't like about our cars. So today I'll be doing the 5 things I dislike about my 2013 Focus ST. So first thing I dislike about this car is the gas mileage. Now don't get me wrong, for sports cars, 25 mpg average is not that bad. But for me, for what I was looking for, and for it being a 3,000 pound hatchback, one would have expected to have averaged a little bit better gas mileage. So even in highway miles, I get really quite terrible gas mileage in this car. I average about 300 miles to a tank, and that's averaging about 25 mpg, which honestly I thought would have been much better. But so part of the issue is that this car only has a 10-gallon gas tank. That's it. You don't really get very much out of it with how little gas mileage you get. For a car with a 10-gallon tank, you would need 30 at least mpg in order to make a long trip out of it. But in this car, even on the highway, I can only travel about 300 miles before I need to fill up again. Something I definitely wish Ford had improved. So the second thing I dislike about this car is the overall lateral legroom. Now, as you guys know, I'm a big guy. I'm about 6'3", and most of it is leg. So I personally would have liked the front seat rails to have been mounted a little bit further back so that there would be more leg room in this car. Horizontally, like width-wise, I'm completely comfortable, even as a big guy, and that's one of the things I love the most about this car, and I touched on in the previous video. Please click up there if you haven't seen it already. But both in terms of front and back seat space, I wish there had been just a little bit more leg room. Even if it came at a slight compromise to the trunk space, I wish there had been a little bit more leg room for us taller people. Third thing I dislike about this car are the cheap materials, and this is just nitpicky kinds of things. It's a ST1 package, which means completely base interior, so I shouldn't by any means expect much, but for sure this car has very cheap materials everywhere. Even the leather of the steering wheel isn't very, it feels more plasticky than it does leather. Everywhere you look, everywhere you touch is just hard plastic, like no matter what. Even the armrest right here it's technically leather, but it feels incredibly plasticky. It's not a soft touch at all. As I said, it's a completely nitpicky thing that you can't really get on Ford about for it being the base interior of a quote-unquote sports car, but I do wish there had been some more premium materials used throughout the interior of this car. The fourth thing I dislike about this car is the first generation Ford Sync system. It's horrible. I would rather have the original Uconnect system for my parents' Chrysler Town & Country than the original Ford Sync that comes in this car. It is so clunky and hard to use. You don't know where anything is. You don't know how to get to anything. It took me 20 minutes the first time to try and figure out how to pair my phone to the Bluetooth. It's completely unintuitive. You have no idea what to expect or how to get anywhere, and so on and so forth. Not to mention, the screen is just a very low resolution, very unimpressive screen, and very small. It's about 4 inches, which is about that big. And the worst part is that even now, in the 2017 Focus STs, you still have to get, at the very least, an ST2 package, an upgraded package of car, in order to have the large Ford Sync system. Even in 2017, with the newest models, you can still get an ST1 package that has this horrible Ford Sync system. That makes no sense to me. Ford, you can definitely do better. And the last thing that I hate the most about this car, which is the thing I actually hate the most about this car, is its turning radius. Ladies and gentlemen, I have never experienced a car with a worse turning radius in my entire life. And this is a 4-door hatchback. This car you would expect to be able to turn like any other small compact car. Nope. This car has a worse turning radius, again, than my parents' Chrysler Town & Country minivan. It makes zero sense. I understand that this is a bit of a sports car and it has a quicker steering rack and so on and so forth, and I like that. And in performance driving use, it's a great steering rack. But lock to lock, you always get to the end of the steering lock much sooner than you think you would. And so what happens is you'll end up hitting that steering lock much harder than you would like to, but it's only because it doesn't make sense that it ends where it does. You expect it to keep going, and it should keep going. And because of which, it makes it incredibly difficult to actually turn this car around. U-turns are almost always 3-point turns, and it can actually be unsafe if you have to make a U-turn at a stoplight or something like that, and you end up having to make a 3-point turn because this car literally cannot do it. So, number one thing I dislike about this car is the turning radius. But I don't want to leave a sore taste in my mouth. You have to keep in mind, I absolutely love this car. I love just about everything about it. Just about. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Leave a like if you liked what you saw. Leave a comment on what you liked or didn't like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And until the next video, this is QC Car Guy signing out. Peace.